Look, Swedish is keeping quiet. Look. Look, dirty joke. Okay.
Yeah, the best dirty joke, little kids' dirty jokes. Yeah, I saw a little boy fall in the mud.
The only jokes I ever remember are Squaddy's jokes, and they're not appropriate for YouTube. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I agree.
Evening, Mike.
Evening. How are you doing?
Good to see you, man.
How you going? All right.
I'm good. All work and no play.
So did you know diarrhea was a Greek word, Mike?
I didn't. No, it's it's never crossed my mind in the moment, shall we say?
I didn't know that either. So
the reason why I came
that
up
makes
with that
two of us.
Okay. Well, it's Greek. It's all Greek. Blame the Greeks. I blame the Greeks. Yeah. It's...
One thing I've just been thinking there about trying to keep yourself under the radar, not too attractable, trying to be the grey man, this sort of stuff. Is if you could have all these plans of bugging out, evacuation, and you can have a fully stocked this and that. If you find yourself in a situation where your location has been destroyed, there's no chance of bugging out to your evacuation route as planned and so on, and you actually find yourself in an evacuation center with a load of other people waiting for transport to another location, for instance, and you've got your pre-prepared bug out bag and all this sort of stuff, and you've got all your gear, you've got your nice Gore-Tex jacket, you've got your good footwear. Hey Pete, you've got your smart utility knife and all the rest of it. People who aren't as prepared or have got no plan whatsoever will be looking at you thinking, hang on a minute, he's got a nice he's got all the gear there, where's he going? I want to start following him, or what else has he got in his bag, what else has he got in his pockets?
Yeah.
So blending in could be, no matter where you are amongst other people, you've got to look at what kit you're exposing, how you're talking, how you're moving, your mindset. For instance, if you're in a bunch of people who are absolutely clueless and you've got all the answers, then you just put yourself in the framework and into the limelight.
It's a bit of a balancing act, though, right? Because if you go in grey man, you'd have just a standard size backpack. But if you want all your kit with you, you're going to need something a bit bigger, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the unexpected sort of circumstances, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to, most people have got to keep it realistic in terms of they're not going to be running through the woods, getting hunted by dogs and all this sort of stuff, or walking around patrolling with a weapon and stuff. It's probably going to be jump in the car, we'll try and get from A to B as quick as possible, or it could even be jump on a train or go to the nearest motel, or they've got out early.
Mm-hmm.
It's loads of down and dirty scenarios, and probably one of the most things that people have got to consider is either getting robbed, losing their gear, or getting attacked. Really.
And that's where earlier we were talking about cargo pants. That's where you can take a lot of stuff out of your get home bag, put it into your cargo pants. That's why it's in pockets around, and someone's not going to take the time, empty that pocket, empty your pockets out. They're just going to grab and run.
I mean, one of my my bug out bag, or my EDC bag that I use every day, and it's got all sorts of gear in it. I've got a trauma pack in there, water in there, I've got CBRN gear in there, notebook, pen, and multi-tool, and all this sort of stuff. The actual bag, day sack, I found it in a canal about 8 years ago. It took me about a week to dry it out.
Make a video with that bag.
I did, yeah.
You
And I specifically kept it because it's still fit for purpose, and it just looks like an old tatty bag. I would never go down, and I mean, I've considered that, but I would never go down to the nearest black store and buy a 150-pound Berghaus rucksack just for the EDC stuff. It's just too attractable.
Well, so what's your theories with? I know a lot of preppers that are like 100% army surplus, so that literally as soon as it hits the fan, they're going to be head to toe in old DPM, some even in MTP.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that army surplus is surplus for a reason. It's apart from clothing.
Yeah,
It's either beyond its shelf life. It's not fit enough to pass the grade to be sold on to other armies like Indian Army and stuff like this. Especially, I don't know, CBRN gear, for instance, NBC suits. You see them for sale all the time. It's just a lot of crap. I would rather buy civilian equipment. I'll give you an example. In Aldershot, we were 90% of the blokes in Aldershot, they didn't have an issue sleeping bag. They didn't have issue boots. They didn't have an issue warm jacket. It was like puffer jackets, proper walking boots, lightweight, decent sleeping bag, because it was just better gear.
yeah.
People got to think of discard clothing, but the rest of the gear, it's made for the masses, i.e. the army, and it's okay, it's fit for purpose, but there is better gear out there. As far as trying to walk around like Tactical Pete, it's
My uncle was Aldershot. He got married down there.
All right,
It was Remy.
Right, okay. Excellent.
Yeah, I like the DPM. I like the MTP. I think if you're in depends on your location. I wouldn't wear it sort of in a city environment, but if I had to, maybe stash that kit in a cache, in a bucket, in a bag, have that for if I had to be in the wilderness situation. It's nice to have if you want to be concealed.
There's benefits of military clothing. One of them is the fact that military clothing is infrared absorbent. It won't reflect. For instance, if you get any sort of night vision scope out with an infrared illuminator and you shine it on any sort of civilian jacket, it will just light up like a beacon. Whereas a DPM jacket, it won't. It will just appear. It will still blend in. That's one benefit. Second benefit, I think most people look towards military gear is the fact that it is robust clothing.
Yeah,
the jackets are robust. They've got loads of pockets. Trousers are robust. The clothing is actually generally good, but you got to think about the environment you're in to wear it. Really,
I love my ripstop.
You don't have to buy a surplus. You could buy new stuff that look like new cargo trousers, new. You can buy new sort of military style M65s.
Yeah,
there's loads of stuff on the market that doesn't necessarily have to be, in the army, some of those stuff is second hand. You don't have to buy second hand stuff. You can buy the new stuff.
Some of
I'd rather be caught out with sort of really good material in a SHTF situation. That's why I say to people, wear that now. Start getting used to it now. Start wearing boots. Start wearing cargo pants. Start wearing shirts that are going to last, because you don't know. You see certain people in Ukraine, they just were left with what they were wearing. That's it. And if they managed to grab a bag or whatever, that was it. In some cases, so what you might have on is a first line of defense.
I would recommend certain things. If anyone wants a decent Gore-Tex jacket, get an army surplus one. Cheap, very effective, and it works. Like you just said there, Mike, ripstop clothing.
Yeah, that's what my jacket is. Yeah,
they work really good. I've been hung up on barbed wire a few times, and beforehand you're wearing the old windproof trousers, windproof smock. the rip will just carry on going all the way up your arm, all the way down your leg, and you're walking around for the next 2 weeks with gaffer tape holding it all together. The other stuff that I'd recommend getting is which you don't really see a lot of nowadays because of the advancement in sort of textiles, is the old army green woolen jumper. You can still get them quite cheap.
I've got. Yeah. You can pick them up, and I think like Daryl says as well. It's you can get them new even now.
Yeah.
They're worth having.
Yeah.
Don't wear it without a t-shirt though. If you're worried about itchy wool.
The Army, Navy, Air Force. Oh yeah, they
ACB, good to see, man.
eBay's a good one for them. Army surplus stores. The Army woolen jumpers.
Actually, Vinted. I find them. I picked up 2 on Vinted, and I paid £3 for each of them. The jumpers. One was too small.
Seriously.
But it comes in handy for Mrs. Urban Prepper. But one was perfect. The only weird one was the one that fit me all right. Somebody had replaced the buttons with black naval buttons, which I found really odd, but never mind.
£3, that's a bargain.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I would recommend, but you don't really see a lot of them now because they're getting old, is the Austrian trousers were made of wool. A lot of bushcrafters like to go for those. In fact, funnily enough, KF shirts, the old army, British Army shirts were made of wool. Itch like buggery, and they gave you a rash on your neck and stuff like that. But if you wear it underneath, underneath.
I had one of those shirts, and the jacket. They had these kind of jackets as well. That was a similar type. Even worse, it was even more itchier.
Also,
Norwegian
Army shirts. But clothing. There's some bargains to be picked up with clothing. Definitely, it is robust clothing. Anything else, I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Not any other gear like boots. I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't wear secondhand boots if you gave them to me.
No way. Good boots is a definite thing to have. Good boots, and don't just have 1 pair or 2 pairs. Here, have 3 pairs.
And please break them in.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good idea to do.
Thanks, Mike.
Your expense.
When it comes to clothing, wool clothing specifically, I don't know if they sell it over there, but there's a company here in the United States called Pendleton. Pendleton wool is really high quality wool. It doesn't itch. I grew up as a teenager wearing Pendleton wool shirts when I lived up on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and those things are just absolutely soft, comfortable. Had no itch with them. T-shirts I always wore were cotton, 100% cotton. Still wear 100% cotton T-shirts and underwear. My socks, either 100% wool or 100% cotton, or a blend of cotton and wool.
I've not heard of that make. No, I wear merino wool tops a lot.
Yeah,
they're excellent.
Yeah. Expensive, but it's good quality.
Yeah, even
the best socks.
Even the cheaper versions of merino wool are quite good. I mean, Lidl and Aldi, they sell merino wool tops every now and then. They're great.
Yeah. That question earlier about so who's that from? We scroll back up here. That was from Michael Doolan.
Michelle.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Michelle Doolan.
Michelle. Sorry. You need to clean my glasses here. Just about all the time you'll see me in a long sleeve shirt. Middle summer, 120 degrees out, long sleeve shirt. I grew up that way. My dad always wore long sleeve shirts. We're out there working out in the north rim of the Grand Canyon at 7,000 foot elevation. Everybody else is getting fried. We got long sleeve cotton or wool shirts on. We just stay cool. Natural fibers keep you cooler than the synthetic crap that they sell us. Oh, this is better. Well, yeah, we try to eliminate all synthetic clothing because it's crap.
It's like well, I forget what the make is. There was some of the synthetic, close to body, the inner core sort of garments you wear. All well and good, but after literally 4 hours, you start stinking something rotten.
Oh yeah.
It just does not release. All your sweat doesn't escape properly. Your body oils get trapped. And you don't get that with wool at all. It's completely, wool.
Yeah.
You could probably wear the same garment comparison in wool for
A couple days.
a couple of days, 3 days, 4 days, maybe.
Yeah.
Denim's the same in that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of guys used to wear some, was it a leafer top? A blue top with a white stripes down the arms. They were horrendous, them things.
Yeah. My baby brother, 2 years younger than me, started wearing the synthetic socks. His wife got so mad at him. She said, you take those socks off in the bathroom, hop in the shower, and you put those socks in that sealed hamper. After a while, I told him, hey, dude, stop wearing the synthetic crap, go back to cotton. He went back to cotton. His feet stopped stinking after a week.
Yeah.
Because the synthetic socks trap enough moisture around your feet, even though it's supposed to wick it away, which it doesn't, that the bacteria was just breeding all over his feet. And he started getting athlete's foot bad from the synthetic socks. And it's like, no, get rid of the synthetics, go to cotton. It'll keep you cooler in the summertime, keep you warmer in the winter. It's just,
it lines up with stealth tactics as well. People can smell. If people can smell you from a mile away, that's an issue.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
They can smell my brother 10 miles away.
I was also going to add as well, in your kits, also to remember to put something for your feet, blister kits, stuff like that, because all of a sudden you might find yourself walking distances that you're not used to.
Yeah.
And trust me, having feet stuff is not nice.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always put out to people. Do your practice hikes in all weathers. Rain, snow, hot sun, nice, comfortable, warm days. Do it in all, because SHTF, Tawaki is going to hit at the worst possible moment.
Yep.
Definitely.
When you're in your front room with your Hawaiian shirt on, your feet up on the couch, bam, it happens.
Yeah.
And everybody's outside in the fire emergency spot, and they're stood there and it's raining, freezing, and you're there with your flip-flops and your yellow Hawaiian shirt and your
Crocs
and your dodgy pants.
Yeah.
Don't diss the Crocs. They're multi-utility uses.
I wonder if there's any sort of cargo pant pajamas, like for preppers. Mind you, hang on, I could be onto one there. Be ready even in your sleep.
Like a camouflage onesie.
Union suit.
For adults that I've seen.
Be ready for anything's pajamas. These pajamas come with life support machine. Oh, okay. These pants come with a IFAC built in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, one of the guys that I was working with, after we were talking about, he started getting into it and stuff. He had previously been a firefighter. And if you know anything about firefighters, at the side of their bed, they have their boots with the lower half of their uniform. I forget what the pants are called, but with the suspenders up. And it's basically they get out, feet right through the pants into the boots, pull the suspenders up, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, I've got my clothes ready to go right next to me all the time. Boots, clothing, bags, dogs ready.
On the comments there, my wife wore Crocs for about 6 months. She liked them until she started working in the garden. Then she'd come in and she goes, I'm getting blisters on my feet because all the little holes in the Crocs, the soil was getting in there and just chewing up her feet. Yeah, it was like, okay, Crocs went bye-bye, and I kept my mouth shut. I went into the other room to laugh.
But if you have to wade a river and you want to go barefoot, a pair of Crocs on top would be good across the gravel and stuff. Just throwing it out there, you know.
I prefer sail shoes. You know, the slip-on canvas shoes that the guys on the sailboats racing wear. Yeah, those work because they dry out really quick.
You can get them really cheap as well at Sports Direct if anybody does want what he's talking about there.
Yeah, actually having some kind of flotation device is not a bad idea because you might be in a flood zone situation. It depends on, you know, we're talking about stealth situations, using tactics to get away from situations. What if you're in a flood prone place?
The croc wearers drink Coke. I wore a cheaper version of Crocs for a while until I hit me toe on a little bollard on a pontoon and cut me toe, and then the soles are just not conducive with
good to see you,
too
man.
slippery.
I mean, honestly, I only got them as camp shoes. So when you get back and you take your boots off and you still want to walk around and stuff like that, you don't want to stand in anything suspicious. It was just nice because it still had my feet out. I wouldn't ever advise them for practical use.
Yeah. Our scouts all got what we here in the United States we call water shoes, and basically it was basically it's for going swimming and stuff. And since Scout Camp had the North Fork of the Stanislaus River flowing through it, and they all went swimming down in the river and climbing around on the rock boulders down there at the river and doing swimming and stuff. The first year, the first time scouts would go there, they kind of, why do I need that? Next year, they had 2 pair, just in case they lost a pair, because they learned that first year, water shoes, when it comes to the river and the creeks, you got to have them.
Yeah, Bob knows.
Kayak, water shoes.
Bob knows what he's bugging out in there. Look.
Oh, Bob's comment. Oh.
Well, Bob, you would stick out like a sore thumb.
Or he'd blend in San Francisco.
I think he'd be tripping up. I think he'd be falling over everywhere. I think it'd be funny because if he tries to run, he'd be tripping up everywhere. And what if they break the high heels? He'd be in trouble.
At least he's his own walking tradable commodity, though.
Yeah.
I think the closest I'd ever get to Crocs would be like a trail shoe, which has got more sort of
fabric missing.
Good to see you. In this, not sandals. It's like a training shoe version of a sandal, if you like. Yeah, it's got more aerated holes in it too. I mean, that sort of thing's good for a camp shoe if you're going on a 40, 50 mile, 60 mile route. It's good to get out your boots when you get to an overnight stop, get into something more restful and comfortable, just to give your feet a bit of an air in or a rest.
I can testament to that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. have a good water type bag in your kit as well, so that if you want to make your bag into a flotation device, you can use it to get across rivers, get through perhaps get out of a flood if you have to.
Yeah, the waterproof bags that you can roll up and seal, they can capture a lot of air and work like that. They're real.
I've been looking at a couple.
Yeah.
There's Aldi Lidl do some good quality ones of those every now and then in the spring and summertime. I've got some, and I was quite impressed with the actual quality of them because I've used them for canoeing and sailing, the proper expensive ones, and these were just as comparable, and they're like 15, £20 each. Or, a good solution would be to have some sort of day sack or bag that's got shoulder straps on it as well, but they're a bit more expensive.
Yeah, you want to keep your clothes dry. You take out the dry clothes.
Worst case scenario, you use your tarp or your basher. Classic, proven, tried sort of method.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had a thought come back into my head. Back when we were talking about the backpacks and stuff and everything else and standing out, there's something that's popular in the United States. I'm not sure how popular it is elsewhere. It's called a fanny pack. Just a little pack that Ooh.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
I used to use them back. I used to use them years
ago.
Just
all the kit goes in there, and then fold it up. And this not just waterproof; it becomes an excellent flotation device. You can even see I've only folded it 3 times there, and you can see how much air is trapped in it.
Yeah, I have a couple of those myself. Those are
good.
really nice.
They're also good for putting something that's crushable in there. So if you trap the air in it, it will sort of provide a buffer zone to stop it getting crushed. Sorry, Jill. You were saying about
fanny packs.
Bum bags.
Generally, they're small enough that you're not going to draw attention to you. And I know when we used to go to Magic Mountain and Marine World and stuff, my wife got some for us because we had the kids with us, and they had 2 water bottle holders. We wouldn't wear them up, to the back. We'd turn them around to the front, so they're right here in front of us, and they're very less observable being in front. But yeah, you can. That's something.
Trade says there. The word fanny is something different in Britain. You can't say fanny pack in Glasgow. We call them bum bags. It's a song by Pete.
What did you say, Jimmy?
And one of the lines in the song is called "Fanny Snatcher." And in Britain, everyone thinks, "Hey, you are."
Yeah, someone told me that because in one of the books I was writing, she was reviewing. She goes, "Oh, in England, they're going to take offense to that because it means some part of a female body."
Yeah.
But yeah, in America, they're marketed as fanny packs, because us, it's your back end is the fanny.
Yeah, just like Daryl there, he's having a fag at the moment.
Yeah,
he just was.
Yeah, when I grew up, that word meant a little bundle of sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you know that, PV?
I could smell it from here. I smelled him. Just like what was I going to say now? Yeah, fags.
Sorry, Bob's comment just got me. Sorry.
All right, what did he say? Funny means a growler. Growler. You want to see me growler?
And my dad, they used to call the home rolled cigarettes. Used to call those faggots.
Yeah. Back in 13, 14, 1500s, a faggot was a loosely tied collection of wood or gorse. Gorse faggots were used to light bread ovens because they were so resinous and full of oils and easily lit.
Well, now it's a Welsh delicacy. A pork faggot is a ball of meat.
Mr. Brains.
Meatball.
Mr. Brains faggots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I remember them.
Words have different meanings in different cultures at different times.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It doesn't matter. We're all still blacklisted off YouTube now for that whole conversation.
Demonetized after this, Shadow.
We are not doing any derogatory remarks towards any group of people. We're talking about the historical meanings of certain words. That's it.
Coming to this sort of point is, if you go into certain areas and you don't want to blend into the locals, but Bob alluded to this earlier, the fact that in certain the Philippines, Bob, was it? I can't remember what we said, but he said in certain areas, you go to a different village and the dialect's slightly different, and they will
Yeah.
ping straight away. Same in Britain. Well, it used to be the same in Britain, where if you go to Liverpool, they've got a certain accent. If you go to Newcastle, they've got a certain accent. If you go to London, they've got a different accent, and so on and so on. All these different regional accents are only a couple of 100 miles apart, and it's not just the accent either; it's terminology as well.
Yes, the great debate of bread buns or barm cakes or stuffies or
people just know straight away you're an outsider, for instance, and especially these days with the language has just been corrupted beyond belief, especially down in London. For some reason, certain groups in London they will talk like Frank Bruno as if they're
what, mate? Yeah.
What's funny along that lines, back years ago, I worked for a construction company, underground construction company, and our master plumber was from a weird area in Mexico, and we had a lot of legal Mexican employees, and Rubio would get off and go, blah, 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 and everyone would, what are you saying, Rubio? And we'd look at one of the other Mexicans. What's he saying? He goes, hell, I don't know. He's from some backwoods spot down there. He doesn't speak true Mexican. And he couldn't even understand him.
Hey, amigo, ¿qué pasa? ¿Estás bien?
And it was like, because of the dialect in that part of Mexico, a lot of other Mexicans didn't understand them.
I know a guy once who he went on a course, and this what a course, it was selection, and the selection was for a thing we used to have, still got it, called special duties, and after day 2 he was kicked off the course, and the reason given to him was he was too handsome, because
I know that problem.
Yeah, I think I won't be on that course.
Basically, the role involved humans, the human intelligence work, and if you stand out from the crowd, they don't want you really. And he literally, the guy, he looked like Dolph Lundgren, and he got kicked off the course because he was too handsome, and he played on that for a while.
For a while, I'm sure forever. He'd tell everybody that every time.
Yeah.
You must be a spy.
Yeah,
they want handsome.
They wanted the average looking person, and the person who was adaptable. And this is going into the grey man sort of aspect completely. Really, the average looking person, the average looking clothes, who it blends into everyone else. The average attitude, the average mannerisms, and so on and so on and so on. And adaptability as well, mindset. Because if you haven't got an adaptable mindset, you're going to find it very difficult if you're traveling a long distance to blend in with sort of regional behaviours, practices, and accents and all this sort of thing. You've almost got to become an actor at a certain extent.
I want to address the women on this. The big fancy hairdos and stuff, and poofy hair, long hair and stuff. Yeah, that's going to be a detract. Actually, it's going to make a target of your back. And if you're wearing tight clothes to accent every little curve of your body, I'm sorry. That says, "Ooh, I'm sexy. Come take me."
Don't listen to Gil's advice. Just come and join my mag. It's fine. I'll let you wear that. It's all right.
Calm down, Jason. Calm down.
But so if you're going to try to get from point A to point B, you don't want to be looking like a runway model.
Yeah, I mean it goes back to Owl's just said about the presentational stealth tactics, but I mean you can't exactly change your looks that way. Is too handsome going to be an issue for being grey man? I mean, not for me, obviously, but for other people.
I suspect not for all of us.
To answer Venerable Owl's thing, going back to what this path stands for, it's routes of travel: primary route, alternate route, tactical route, hidden route. And personally, I don't like that acronym. I think every route should be tactical in one way or another. and you should have more than just those type. You should have multiple routes that are primary routes that you take all the time, different ones same day. Not just for emergencies. You should have multiple routes for your thing. So you don't want to be predictable in what you do. Anyway, just in
Hey,
normal life.
Alice, Dartmoor Survival. Good to see you again.
And if you do
Interesting.
happen to be in a city, carry a small A to Z or the equivalent wherever country you're in, because you might not call it A to Z in America.
It's interesting how you see the behaviour of people who have been convicted and sent to prison, and how they don't want to stand out, how they want to blend in, and their behaviour. I mean, the way you dress isn't going to be an issue because everyone would probably dress the same. It'll probably be, what ethnic group you're in these days, depending on which side you get drawn to. But you keep your head low. Not I've been speaking from experience or anything, but I think people get the gist.
Yeah.
I remember going on holiday as a kid, and I was sort of doing a little bit of work for my uncle, and he had a restaurant, and I was in Greece for a few weeks, and I was already quite tanned, so I looked like a local, being Greek. But although I was born in the UK, one of the head waiters came in the restaurant and said, "Hey, in Greek, you've got some of your people here." And I said, "My people?" He said, "You English, come, we need you to speak to them," because they couldn't speak English to get their order. So I was a little kid, I think I was about 12, and they come outside, and there was this English family with their friends there sitting around the table trying to make an order, but the Greek guy couldn't speak English, so he brought me outside to speak to them. Anyway, they looked at me, they were laughing, looked at me, and I said, "Hello, everyone," and they started laughing because they heard my London accent. I went, "You from London?" And it was it was very funny. I got a big tip after that as well. I took their order and gave it to the waiter. That was fun because I was like blending in, and then they looked at me as if to say, "What's this little kid doing here? What's he gonna do?" And I started speaking English, and it was like I was a clown or something. Ah, look, he speaks English. So yeah, I'm from London. It was really funny. So using something to your advantage, blending in. In some cases, I was on holiday in Spain, and some people behave badly when they're on holiday in Spain. I mean, you've got some British people, some German people going there, just having a laugh, drinking, and whatever. And I was like, I'd be blending in. I don't know them. I'd be like acting Spanish, or I'd be acting Greek if I was in Greece, because you get lager louts everywhere.
Yeah, if you're trying to blend into a certain scenario, and someone's pinged you, you've got to have another alternate plan to get yourself out of that situation, because an outsider can be viewed quite badly in many scenarios.
Yep.
Yeah, I just subbed to Venerable Owl too. So.
Yeah, he has a great channel.
In fact, one thing that's come to light recently, that grey man, is the type of vehicle you use. I mean, how many people at the moment who have got a Tesla are parking it in a certain place thinking that something's going to happen to it?
I saw someone took a Tesla, and they got the glue-on lettering for a Toyota and put it across the back of it.
All right, to pretend it wasn't.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
I think
so
it's brilliant,
funny.
excellent cars, but well, I can't afford one for that way. Yeah, but another example of singling out and targeting certain vehicles because they think there's a certain type of person driving it, or it represents something that they don't agree with, etc., etc. So yeah, the choice of vehicle
Yeah.
can play a big part.
So I'm fully grey man in my Chinese electric vehicle then, yeah?
Have you got a BYD or something? Is it?
I've got a BYD, yeah.
Oh, right.
But you'd never think a prepper would be in it, right?
I've just actually seen a video today of one of these BYD vehicles, and it was I thought initially it was a brand new Range Rover. It was just like an exact copy, and it went into this river, went around the river out of its depth. It floated and was going along electric, and then come out the river, no problems at all. It's unbelievable.
Mine's the Atto 3, which is the 4x4 style one.
Right. So this is whilst Britain and most of the West are scrabbling around, fighting with each other, and getting into disarray and arguing about all sorts of current issues that I won't mention. China are advancing, and they've got all the skills, the production facilities, the know-how, the engineers, and they're just cracking on with things. If you go to China now, or you see what the state of the situation on the ground in China now is, they're 30 years ahead of us. It's just unbelievable. Just we're going backwards, they're going forwards.
I mean, BYD, when it first came over here, people are like, what's that? And I still get them looks like people trying to figure out what car it is because they don't recognize the badge or the shape.
Right.
But obviously it was down to like a lease thing through work. That's the only reason I've got it. It's an environmental thing that work's doing. And it was the choice of that or something really small. But because I've got the kids and stuff like that, I wanted something bigger. But I did some research on it, and the battery in it is better than the Tesla batteries, as in it'll last hundreds of years over the space. Like the Tesla ones will run out in like 20, 30 years. They'll have to be rechanged and replaced and whatever. And it's just so much more tech for such a smaller price. It actually is unreal. I mean, I feel sorry for people that have paid through the nose for a Tesla.
Well, that's the big sort of USP, is the fact that they can put all that into such a low cost compared to the other vehicles. The big percent, I think, what puts people off still is the fact that it could have some sort of Trojan element to it, where the Chinese can remotely listen to you, shut it down, spoof it, or whatever. But yeah,
Well, that is a problem over in China.
yeah,
They some corporations that sell the cars and stuff. If the person doesn't get an extended warranty, they turn it off.
yeah.
And there's things where they're blackmailing people to buy extended warranties and stuff like that. Like where here in the U.S. we just get the spam phone calls.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it went through some sort of vetting procedure to be sold in the UK. So I'd like to think that that's
you'd
not
like
the
to
case.
think that.
But I mean, is it going to listen to me any more than this already does?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question at the end of the day.
If they're going to listen to me, then that's going to be an exciting conversation. You can listen to what you want. They know where I live, etc. Anyway, I was speaking to a mate's wife a couple of months ago, and she was saying that she got locked out of her car. She got a BMW, and anyway, the end result was the active monitoring on the vehicle when she phoned up through the helpline and so on. They were able to remotely unlock the car by satellite.
Wow. Handy and scary all at the same time.
I mean, this sort of technology was been available since I went to Canada in 1990 something. 1990 must have been about 1993, 1992, 1993. Hired a vehicle, and it was like a little people carrier type thing. And in there, you pressed a button, panic button, in case you broke down or whatever. and the operator could remotely speak to you through some sort of system, and their voice would come out of the speakers. Because my mate pushed the button. What's that button for? The big red button. Pushed it. His voice. Can I help you? Sorry, you've broken down. Hey, what? So that technology was back in its sort of infancy back then. So
yeah, I've got the SOS button up here, like in the car with a little phone symbol, but I've never.
Oh right, it'll be similar. Yeah.
I've never pressed it. I don't know where it goes to. If it just goes to a local service, or if I'm going to go through to a Chinese call center or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they will probably answer, "Welcome, this is a Chinese illegal call center. How may I help you?"
I mean, these days it's easy to do. I mean, take every aircraft that has a Rolls-Royce engine in it, for instance, has got the capability to have an extra package onto it to have it fault diagnosed, GPS tracked remotely by Rolls-Royce, for instance. You put a little satellite receiver transmitter onto any vehicle nowadays, and you can do all sorts.
Yep, scary times.
I don't.
Indeed, it is.
I purposely kept myself away from the technology. Too much technology is not too good.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
like Jill was saying earlier, how to keep yourself, what you're buying. For example, using cash only and not credit cards, and not letting people know what you eat.
There's certain lines to be crossed. Depending on the level of security you want to maintain. I wouldn't personally pay for things through my phone or over my phone, and so on and so on. Yeah. But I've seen this with older folk, quite common, and a majority of older folk, and the fact that the transition of computers into modern day life, they've tried to avoid it, and I would avoid being a Luddite. You got to keep on top of technology and go with the flow.
Well, yeah, I kind of keep up with it to a point, but I don't sort of. My life doesn't depend on it so much.
No, don't integrate your life into it.
I think there should be a book saying how to become a caveman again.
Well, I mean, soon
for the future.
Well, when the grid goes down, we'll all learn that very quickly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think we should start from now. Who was it that said the Fourth World War would be fought with sticks and stones?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, soon we're going to see satellite direct-to-cell phone calls through Starlink and stuff, which they're working on now, and they're launching like 2 or 3 launches a week, deploying that sort of tech. Right. So that's handy for some respects, because long range radio, SOS, remote outback locations, a cell phone straight to satellite is going to be amazing. And you can already have a Starlink Mini, and you created your own Wi-Fi bubble, anywhere in the world, and you combine that with a small satellite dish to maintain the mini unit, and there you go.
And a hefty subscription price.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming down. They initially started £120 a month.
Well, funnily enough, one of our preppers in my group have one, and you can buy it, start the subscription, and instantly pause it.
Yeah.
So then you've got the tech,
and
you can just sit there. And when if it's SHTF, if the grid goes down, the turning the subscription back on is not something you've got to do via your phone or your PC. You can do it via the unit. So it can sit there dormant, and then you can suddenly turn it on and have internet when everyone else has nothing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've got another title. I've got another title for you, Shadow. How to not be a caveman when everybody else is in a situation.
Yeah, that would be definitely a topic.
Back to basics.
All right. To answer Scottish Prepper's question back on the 44 lever action rifle, a little bit more than what I did in the chat, it has an advantage that the 44 caliber rifle takes the same cartridge as the Colt Peacemaker pistol. That's an advantage right there. But it puts out, because it has the longer barrel, it puts out a higher velocity round. The same round comes out faster out of the rifle than it does out of the pistol. That's why I have a 30-30 lever action, and I have a 30-30 rifle. Pistol. So I can fire the same ammunition out of both. My son has a couple 45-70 rifles. He's looking at getting a 45-70 pistol to use the same ammunition in both.
Probably is not as relevant over here because of our pistol laws.
Yeah.
Well, we have the same issues here.
Yeah.
Right, Shadow, that's me. My time has come.
Yeah, I know. As usual.
Yeah,
That's one, good. Always good to hear from you and speak to you.
Yeah, no worries. Just message us. Right, catch you all up later, and see you later, Mike. See you, Gil. Shadow, Daryl.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
See you later, PB.
Everyone in the chat, and good luck, folks.
Yeah. Mel Sibley, yes, it's like the 357. You use it in the pistol, or you can use it in a rifle, and that's, to me, that makes it more versatile for your ammunition, because you got one round you can use in two different platforms. Let's see here. Legally. I like that. Legally. Yeah, that was, I'm trying to just think about it. FTB TV was talking about the, this company made a AR platform rifle for a country that they don't allow that the civilians can't own 9mm, because that's considered a military round. So they made it in 308. No, sorry, not 308, 380, and 380 semi-automatic pistol round for it. But yeah.
Ask a question if you've not already answered it. Sorry, I missed the early couple of hours, but the topic is how to be a shadow, stealth tactics using Path, obviously. Yeah. How do you combat taking small kids along said trails to bug out locations?
Train them beforehand. Steve at Corsair Trainers did several videos when he moved to his new house, where he went out first and scouted the area, then took the kids out and played games with them. All right, I spy with my little eye, and the kids have to look, see what he's doing. And he's being a Marine, he's taught his kids a lot more than most people do. But yeah, he's teaching them about situational awareness, maintaining low visibility to others. Just being the gray man as little kids, which is kind of hard for kids to do. But if they think it's a game, can I be hidden in plain sight?
Yeah,
you'd be amazed how good kids can disappear in plain sight.
Oh yeah.
I might have to experiment with that one next time I take the loud boys out.
Yeah. Oh, you also got to take rewards with you.
And you get fed tonight. That's your reward.
Yeah. Whoever can be quiet for the next 5 minutes without making a lot of noise, you can ask a question, but without making noise and asking the question softly, you get a can, or you get a Walther's hard candy or something like that.
On that note, I'm going to say goodnight, everyone, as well. Thanks for having us on, Shadow.
Okay, no problem.
Always good talking with you and talking with you, Jill, Mike.
It's good to see you again, Daryl.
Everyone in the chat, God bless you all. Everyone on the panel, God bless you.
Take care.
Have a good evening. Be vigilant and take care. God bless. Take care.
Take care.
Take care too, dear love.
Yeah.
And then there were 3.
Yeah.
That's what we started out with, was 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did.
Traveling as a gray man, as we talked about in the very beginning, for those that have just come in lately, is, it's not wearing a gray hoodie, and unless everybody else is wearing hoodie. In the fall in California stuff, a lot of people wear hoodies. So wearing a hoodie, you blend in.
It's
If
not
you're in the
camouflage.
if you're in the San Francisco downtown business district, a lot of people wear suits. They don't wear cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Up here in Idaho Falls, a lot of people wear cowboy hats and cowboy boots and Western shirts. It's blending in so you don't draw attention to yourself. And believe it or not, one of the things is the color of your clothes. They don't got to be gray, but you also don't want bright fluorescent colored clothing. Even if you are in a certain district in San Francisco where a lot of people wear that, you can, if you're wearing the drab colors, solid colors, you disappear into the background of everybody else that's wearing colorful stuff.
Sorry.
Now, I got one for you. I got one for you, Mike. Back in the early '60s, in most of the United States, there was a T-shirt called the surfer shirt.
Right.
It was striped sideways.
Hey, Howie, good to see you.
Red stripes or yellow stripes or orange stripes. It was very, very popular. All the kids wore those. You would have blended right in, except they said, "Why are your shirt stripes different?"
Put it on sideways.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it looked like. I got pictures, and I look back at myself. I bust up laughing. Me and my older and younger brother, we had surfer shirts on. We hardly ever went to the beach, but everybody wore them, and so we, wearing those, we blended in.
I couldn't even tell you what would be a generic thing in the UK for that, because people's styles are so eclectic and it's not as regionalized. Like you just said there, if you go to like parts of Texas, for example, they'd all be wearing cowboy boots and stuff like that. There's not really that central fashion according to district. It's just a mix across the lot, which in a way could benefit.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is, but then there's a mix of styles. There's a mix of, so some of those styles is the cuts and, long sleeve, short sleeve, whatever it is. But what always kind of disappears into the crowd are the bland colors, the dingy colors, because that doesn't does not attract people's attention.
Yeah, this is why Mrs. Urban Prepper's hair was bright pink and purple and is now back to her natural color.
My wife had long blonde hair, in the back it was down to about this height, this length and back. And even when she had the babies and stuff, they'd pull it. She'd just wear it back in the French braid or something so the kids couldn't pull on it. But, recently she decided, she saw a couple gray hairs in it. And now she has what the Dorothy Hamill camel, haircut, the short haircut like that. Yeah. And I noticed a lot of other ladies in their 50s and 60s are starting to cut the hair shorter.
Yeah, she was on about doing something like that. And I could see the practicals, but I was just like, I don't know how it's going to look, so I'm not sure.
The interesting thing is, if you are ladies, I'm not trying to be sexist here, okay? If you are a very hot lady with a hot body and long hair, the best way to blend in is oversized, baggy clothes, not too oversized, but just enough so they you don't stand out, and short hair and a ball cap. If you got short hair, a ball cap, and clothes, you even though normally you'd have a nice shape to you, you can pass yourself off as a guy. If you got the baggy jacket on, and not the tight fitting pants, but the relaxed fitting pants and stuff. So you're not accentuating your assets. You want to hide your assets, ladies.
I best start getting some looser shirts then.
Yeah, looser shirts. Yeah, long sleeve shirts hide the muscles.
Yeah, and I would probably stick out with this one.
I honestly, because of the way your shemag fell then, I thought that was a C at the front of that word.
Yeah, I did too at first. I think, wait a minute. It was like, wait a minute, is that a British shirt?
I like it.
Yeah. Bob want the link again. Okay, no problem.
I think I've naturally fell into grey man with age then, because I just don't buy the whole big brands and stuff like that anymore. It's like this is it, just a plain, clean t-shirt,
Yeah. Okay, this is not the UK.
Taffy and I just come over from mine. It's this is Scout Swede's live, Taffy. And we international prepper conversations. It's great.
Actually, all three of us are streaming on our own channels.
Yeah,
the same one. So
there we go. So make sure you subscribe to all three.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, Uncle Al. I don't know if anybody knows who Uncle Al is. That's Die Bullfrog 79.
Oh, yeah.
He also was talking about carrying a cane. Because he's old enough, and he'll carry a cane, and he'll walk like he's needing the cane, whereas normally he doesn't need the cane. But then, but like Bob can tell you, a cane is a great weapon.
Mm-hmm.
If you practice with, you can do it. What was that movie? Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan and his name began with an M. I can't remember the actor's name. The Oriental guy, his name began with an M. He was in some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies too. But yeah, I mean, using a cane, gave me a whole nother respect for canes. And this was back in the 70s when I saw the movie.
And if you get a good quality one, it can be quite a tactical tool as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have to go to the airport, you can get the ones that have, you unscrew it, and all of a sudden it's a nunchuck type.
Yeah, well, I've seen the sword canes as well, but I mean, they're not legal over here anymore.
Yeah.
No,
How you doing, Bob?
As a collector's thing, you can buy them probably, but...
Just a minute.
And you were saying, Bob?
Oh, I'm going to leave Elusive just left me a comment. He's subscribed to me, so I'm going to go to his channel and just give me a second. Yeah. All right.
That's why I like to have this, so people can co-streaming if they want to. I like this function, actually.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Connected with you there, Elusive. Here we go. Left you a comment. Okay. Oh, well, what? A cane? Yeah. To me, one of the best weapons you can get is this right here. That's a garden hoe handle. That moves fast, man. If you get your hands fast and flexible, you can waylay the crap out of somebody before they even know what's happening to them.
Yeah, it's the reason I upgraded the kitchen sweeping brush, because it's a solid wooden handle. And there's a company called Raven Forge over here that like forge their own knives and stuff, and they've made a survival knife, it's made out of a single piece of metal, but the end is perfect to mount and put a bolt through for a spear.
Good, very good. Mm-hmm.
And that's my latest Temu purchase. I don't rate Temu, but that's the best thing I've ever had from Temu. That leather sheath.
Right on.
Remember, I was talking a couple of weeks ago. I needed some leather work doing because I couldn't find something to fit this. But I thought, I'll just give it a chance. It was like $12. So I thought I'll give it a chance, see what it comes in, and it's so heavyweight and it's really good quality as well.
Right on. That whole kit you've got there is nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Bingo.
Yeah, Mike has a lot of nice stuff in gear.
I know, and much to Mrs. Urban Prepper's dismay, she's like, I managed to convince her to commandeer one of the rooms upstairs because it's a 3-bedroom house. We technically need 3 bedrooms, but we're squashed into 2, so I've got a prep room. I said, if I do that, everything will be gone. So I did that. I filled the prep room, and I looked down here, and I thought, I've got much more space now. I can get more stuff and fill it up.
There you go. Why not? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm married too. I know what it's like. You got to walk that tightrope to keep the wife off your back and then also get things accomplished.
Yeah. I bought all these preps, but I also got you a present.
Yeah. In fact, I do just that. I bought a potted daisy for the outside garden, Here you go, hon. Here's your little bribe,
Yeah, don't look at what I've got. Just.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, hon. Yeah.
But she's getting on board. Mother's Day, I got her first multi-tool, so she's
right on.
She's starting to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of multi-tool did you get her?
I'll admit it was just a budget one, like an Amazon budget one. Just try this before we invest heavily in a Leatherman.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm reworking. I don't believe in bug out and run into the woods and we'll survive. No, dude, I hunted for many, many years. You will starve to death. Period. You're going to die. But I'm reworking my stuff. And this is a little knapsack that, in my area, we've already had radical behavior. I live in the Seattle area, and this is going to go on both my wife and my back. It's just a little civilian knapsack. It's nothing special. And fill that up with dried fruit and beef jerky and some water so I can kick holes in the back fence, and she and I can both just scoot out. And we've got locations already chosen, so where she and I can squat down, sit down and shut up until the danger passes. But yeah, I chose the most budget little knapsack. It's not even a backpack,
That's cool. I mean, that's what bugging out should be. Like a short journey to somewhere predetermined. These people that throw a backpack on and they've never walked than 5 miles in their life, but they think they're going to go out to the wilderness.
Yeah, I remember years ago when I first started getting into prepping channels, and so many people, oh my God, I'll go out there and I'll go out and live off the land. Not for long, dude.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
I'm sure there is people that could. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to jump on anyone's back. I'm sure people could, but it's just not realistic if you've got a family in tow and things like that.
In their
20 years ago, I had a much better chance. Now I'm over 60 years old. How long do you think I can carry an 80-pound rucksack? This rucksack right up here is set up 20 years ago. That's my old rucksack.
Alice pack?
Yeah, Alice pack from back when I was in the Air Force. And it fitted me great then, but you know what? Now I'm over 60 years old. You think I'm going to be able to haul that around? Not for long.
Not for long.
And so this is what I'm saying. You've got to adjust with your age and your health and all that. You've got to make adjustments and be flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, and the older you get, you don't have the same strength.
That's a
When
fact.
you are in 60s, 70s, you don't have the same strength as you were when you were 30.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tell that to Arnold. He's still pumping iron.
Yeah. But the older you get, the more important is you build up the strength because you lose it.
Yeah, and like Bob says, it's adaptability, right? I know somebody who's a prepper who his plan is to bug out, and he quickly realized the similar sort of thing with his kind of backpack. So now he has a little pulley, almost like a little what you move furniture with.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's got that with some like decent size off-road tires, and he can pull that for a lot further than he could ever carry a backpack.
Yeah, you can see on my channel, I made my own bug out cart.
Yeah,
I took a 3-wheeled baby stroller and made it into a cart so I could throw stuff on that, which was appropriate for where we used to live. And now we've moved to another area, and it's like that's going on the shelf. That's not part of the plan anymore.
Yeah. It's weird how much you have to adapt
for other things if needed.
Yeah, do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your location is everything, because now we live in a suburb area, and we've got a lot more eyes on us now. Do you understand what I mean? That's why the bug out cart, it's not a good idea, because if I'm seen pushing down a bug out cart with that rucksack on it and on and on and on, bingo! Look at that. There goes those 2 people with all this food and water.
Could you get yourself an old shopping trolley and make a cover that's covered in old tin cans? Make it look like a homeless pushing a trolley.
You're going to make a lot of noise, brother. I've tried. If you listen to a shopping trolley going across the parking lot,
yeah, I know. Yeah. I pull them almost daily in the work.
You're muted, Gil.
When I have to move them.
You're muted.
I was coughing, so I muted it.
All right.
Okay. Didn't want to blow everybody's ears out with my coughing. So Caitlin's Train has a collapsible, portable little cart she uses to go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And with the rubber tires on and stuff, so it folds up fairly small, but she can pack a lot of stuff into it. She's in an apartment. Yeah, I mean, that would probably work for you, Bob, because that just looks like a shopping cart. You're just going shopping or something.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll show you the rest of this kit right here. I've got it hanging up over there. For us, the wife and I, a small knapsack like that with some raisins and dried fruit for energy, some beef jerky, all that, and just be able to walk out, sit down, and be quiet. I think that's the best situation for us in case we can't get out by automobile. Just walk. I've already got the places selected. The wife knows where they're at, and we're just going to go casually walk out, squat down, and shut up until the danger passes. That's one of those adjustments, like I said, with age.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's good. 30 years ago, I could have put that backpack on and haul ass. But now I'm not able to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'll grab a little bit more stuff here in just a second.
One of the things I've seen recently, and it surprised me, it's got me motivated to do more exercises. There's some reels out there on Facebook. One is of an 82-year-old woman. She looks like she's 45. She's been on the carnivore diet for just about all her life.
Yep, I believe it. Yeah,
and she rides horses, and so she takes care of horses and stuff. So she's she's maintained her activity point the entire time. And there was another one which really blew me away. There was a 91-year-old woman doing gymnastics on the parallel bars, and as she's doing it, it's like, holy crap. And she does it all the time. When she got older, she didn't dial back her activity. She just kept her activity up constantly to keep her muscles in tone. Yes, she's got the saggy skin like some of us get, and but she's still able to do the parallel bar works, and it's just amazing.
Do a Google image search for Dr. Jeffrey Life. Jeffry.
The big life changer for me was cancer, but I've got cancer in remission right now. So I had to rework everything, but this right here is an H harness with, we have firearms here. That's my standard sidearm and some extra shotgun shells, speed loaders, a blowout kit in the back, a holster, all that, all subdued colors. I can put that on underneath my jacket when we walk out. You see, that way I won't look like I'm armed. And this little, I had a nice young lady do some tailoring for me, and this is the rucksack with the food and water in it. And I had her sew
on like a yoke. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys might have seen this already, but in case there somebody out there who hasn't, but yeah, it just snaps on just like that, and it's on, and it's one unit in case we got to grab it and go. Everything's on there, But if things get dangerous enough to where we're gonna have to leave, this H harness has got everything on it that I need to be able to keep people away from us. Sidearm, long gun, a blowout kit.
Is that part of a ghillie or is it a camo net?
Right. It is a ghillie camo net, and I had her sew some straps on the back of this H harness so that it's all one unit, and I can unbuckle that, and this slips over our heads like a poncho. Yeah. So when we get to our location, slip that on our heads and sit down and be quiet. Inside there is a face veil that goes a face veil that matches in with the foliage around here. So that's some of the stuff that as you get older, you have to make adjustments.
No, I love it. I actually like that camouflage pattern. What pattern is that? Do you know?
It's all handmade.
Oh, right. Okay. It almost looks like a dark version of German Fleckton.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, but it's all. Here's my wife's.
Hey, yes, good to see you. Welcome to the stream.
This is standard camo netting you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then on the top of that, I sewed golf course black netting on top of that.
Yeah.
So it makes it three-dimensional. But I got the netting idea from the Japanese military in World War II. If you look at how hard they were to be seen, all the Japanese soldiers wore was a piece of netting they put around their shoulders. And they stuffed foliage in there, and they disappeared.
Yeah, I made a half ghillie with DPM as the base, as a smock. Hot glue gunned the netting on because I wasn't very good at sewing, and just tied all the different coloured hessian on. It took forever, but the final result was brilliant.
What I did is this frilly stuff. It's all yarn, just different colors of yarn.
Yeah.
It took a long time to order different colors of yarn off of Amazon and match it up with the local foliage, the colors. Cool. I want them to be able to blend right in. So I just tied hundreds of strips of yarn onto here, cut it down, and then opened the yarn until all pieces opened up like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But these are like winter projects here, guys. You can set that across your lap when you're out in your man cave when it's cold outside and you can't go outside do much anyway. So it takes a long time to do this stuff. But for me, I've been doing this a long time, and for me, something that's meant to conceal you, man, work your butt off on it. Make sure it works.
Yeah.
Be damn sure it works. Because running and hiding is your last resort.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. I love that rig. Good setup.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I just try to share anything with you younger guys. That's what us older guys are here for, is teach you young guys, what works for me. Here's an idea,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I I did the ghillie, it wasn't actually for prepping; it was for airsoft at the time, and I did it where the front was all padded, so it was like so I could crawl without damaging the material. So the ghillie was just on the back, but yeah, it took a while, but well worth it in the end. You found him.
I found him. Yeah, 85 years old.
Yep,
and he looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like.
It's weird because you see him in a suit and you can only see his head and he just looks like an old guy. You know, that's the ultimate gray man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That old guy could kick your ass.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like that underneath. Yeah.
But you'll find it's not strictly carnivore, but if you go into his like YouTube and stuff, it's all natural foods. That's what it's literally just don't eat processed crap, and you know you'll do yourself the world of a good.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad my wife is on board with all this stuff. You know, again, in case you don't know, Mike, my wife's from the southern Philippines, and she lived through civil war.
Yeah.
She knows what it's like. So anything that I need, she'll go, how much does it cost? Well, you know, it's so-and-so. It goes beyond my pension budget. And she'll just bing. Okay, it's there. Order it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's mine's getting that way. She's not obviously had the life experience to warrant it, but you know, she listens to my logical reason, I think, and because I think she when she first heard, because I mean it's not something you mentioned on a first date. Hi, nice to meet you. I've got 90 days worth of food in my house. Just ignore them shelves. But once you explain why, and they see it from a logical point of view, it's quite. She's not like going out actively prepping, but she's fully supporting of me doing it. So, which is a good start.
Well, a smart woman would be behind her man doing things like that. A smart woman, she will think in her mind, this guy will take care of me. This guy will take care of the children. You know, I'm sticking with the smart guy. The good-looking guy, down the road you go. You know.
What are you trying to say, Bob?
I'm better looking than you are, Mike, and a hell of a lot better looking than Shadow.
Won't argue with you there, Bob. I won't argue with you.
There's a meme out there. I think it's so funny. It was about the trophy wife. It has a picture. Oh. This is no longer the trophy wife, and the next one is a cowgirl with holding a chicken and holding a pig. This is the new trophy wife.
That's the new trophy wife. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, definitely.
Which is why I love the staff sergeant is she grew up on a little orchard farm that her parents had. She did not grow up as a city girl. They had chickens and ducks, and they had all the apricot orchard and all this. I rode the little tractor and stuff. And then soon as she was out of high school, she enrolled enlisted in the Army. And, you know, when I met her and stuff, it's like, you know, when I first met her, it's like, I didn't want to rent the room to her. I was renting one of the rooms at the houses I had. I rented 3 rooms out to other people to help pay for it. And it's like, I pushed her off for 3 weeks before I rented to her. Because at first I was like, she's too hot. She's too good looking. I'm going to do something stupid. But when I finally rented to her and stuff, and we were all me and the other 2 were sitting around talking, and she came in, we're talking about stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, I was an idiot. I should have rented it to her the first day she came in.
Oh, yesterday, Ortega, Filipina babae. Yeah, I'm going to sub to her right there. I like the Filipinas. They're awesome. Let's see. I'll leave her a message.
Hey, Grumpy. Good to see you again.
Okay. In case you don't know, Mike, Shadow and I have had a long time bantering back and forth because the pretty Filipino ladies come in and subscribe to his channel, and Damn you, Shadow. You get all the pretty girls. What the hell?
Well, it's my charm, I guess.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Gotta let us in the secrets.
Yeah, he won't give away the secret. He won't, you know. From Bob in. Well, yeah, I got a lot of Filipinas on my channel because they know my wife is one of their sisters, you know. But here we go. All right. Connected with you there yesterday.
Dang, I can hear the wind picking up. It's blowing hard.
Yeah, we had pretty strong winds here today as well.
Let's see. Other stealthy things. We talked a little about, your cars. European car. You guys over there and across the pond have a little bit different social aspect of cars as we do here in the United States. It seems to be like the pickup has become the common car in the United States. Now the crossover SUVs and stuff.
Yeah.
And, what's interesting, when I was working at Homeland Security, several of us got old, we call them beater cars. Old Toyotas or old Hondas or whatever, that the paint's starting to flake on and stuff. And that's what we drove to work, because work was down in downtown Oakland at the Federal Building. And we would drive those to work, and some of us would leave, the McDonald's bags, in the car and other stuff around. So it looks like kind of cluttery, junky and stuff. Our cars never got broken into. The ones that didn't take the hint and, I got a federal job now, I'm buying a nice, bigger, newer car. Guess who cars got broken into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the older looking cars, the ones that, granted, we'd stop washing the cars and let the rain wash it off. Yeah, we keep the windows clean so we can see good. But, if it's dusty and dirty car, people avoided it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's one of the things, if you're bugging out in something, even if it is an all-wheel drive SUV and it's an older model and it's dingy looking, it looks like you're not waxing it a lot, it's got dirt on, stuff on it, you're going to be less of a target than the one in it's the Cadillac, Escalade, whatever, that's all polished and waxed and, got the racks on it with that, the Thiel, container rack on top for putting camp gear and stuff in it. They got to have stuff in there. And so they're going to be the target.
Yeah, definitely.
So what you're saying is, when I get my bright new shiny pickup truck, I just need to make sure the MG is mounted on the back, the 50 cals on there first, just to protect.
No. You want to put the on the roof. You want to get the roof mounted. What's it called?
The minigun.
the automated one.
The MG42 standard accessory,
Yeah.
I might have access to a Bren gun, but it's a bit heavy.
Yeah. Mm. Whatever kind of car you got, if you want to make it look worthless, chew a bunch of Red Man chewing tobacco and spit out the window as you're driving, and have a lot of tobacco spit coming down the side. Pooh! Pooh! Not only this guy's he's a freaking pig, but he's a redneck. Don't mess with that guy.
I've got the solution to the new car thing anyway. I just let the kids ride in it more than once, and it looks trashed.
Yeah, I raised 4 kids, Mike. I know what that's like, man. Holy cow!
When I first got it, I was like, "You're not eating in the new car." That lasts about one trip, and it's just...
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty soon you've got little cracker crumbs and stuff all over the back seat, and Yeah.
I think I've got 3 days worth of food supply if I hoover the car.
I'm sure you do.
We obviously have a question for those in big cities. What do you think of the idea of bugging out on the rooftop of buildings?
That's a good idea.
It's also, you've got to manage risk there. You've got to think
it's a
of fire and escape.
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in Sweden, it would be very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Because our roofs are mostly have this angle.
For the snow and the ice. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's difficult to get up on the roof as well.
You've got to be sure of your defense, right, in that situation, because you are literally putting yourself into a bottleneck. All right. So either a surefire escape method that doesn't involve some sort of Tom Cruise parachute off the side of the building and making sure you defend it right. But again, even then, if somebody knows you're up there and they want you out, a fire set on the ground floor will soon reach the roof.
You're out of there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to answer
quickly to.
I wanted to answer a question that Dartmoor posted a moment ago. What should I prepare with? And I said, check our channels here. I'll speak for my channel. I've got so many things that I've made and modified, and it's all on playlists like bug out and tools that you need for suburban. There's so much stuff on my channel. So have your pick, man. Start searching some of the channels that you've seen the faces of the people and you know who they are. Okay, that's the guy I want to go look at his channel and then surf their channels.
And again, you got to take everything you watch with a pinch of salt, because somebody's plan might be ideal for them, but you might be in a completely different situation.
Correct. But most of the people who are really into preparedness are very happy to answer questions. Really just ask a lot of questions, man. I'll answer your questions, and I do it as promptly as I can. I try to put in what I've just purchased with an Amazon price. So you can kind of get an idea how much you can budget in for something. I'm happy to answer any questions. Most of us are. That's what we're here. What's what we're doing this for. And in fact, this gorgeous half Filipino, half Japanese lady who loves me and not Shadow.
You mean Icy Fit?
Icy Fit. Yeah, she's a little hotness. She left me a comment the other day saying, I love your guys' channels. I'm going to start preparing here in Japan. I was like, man, that's what it's all about. Putting the information out there, getting the message out.
Yeah, that's why I begin to start my channel to teach people.
I have to share this. I won't mention any names, but I've been doing interviews on the BBC radio recently about prepping, which is just for me to spread the word and stuff like that. I'm not getting paid for anything like that. And when you go on the radio, your first person you speak to is like a producer. And they'll say, blah, blah, blah. They'll talk to you. And then say, now we'll put you through to the presenter. So you do your bit. And then when you say goodbye, you come back to the producer. And the producer was this young girl. And she went, while I was researching and looking through your channel, I've actually started prepping now. And I was just like,
that's
win.
What it's all about. Yes, win.
Yeah, I agree.
Big win.
That's a win-win.
Yep.
All right. I'm sure it's because of Walt's comment. He said, drive an old hearse.
I mean, that's the maneuverability on that might not be great for a getaway, but you could fit a lot of stuff in it.
You throw a lot of stuff in it, and people aren't going to. Oh, it's a hearse. Let's go rob the hearse.
I want the blue and white one that's next to that. I'll have that one.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that's more like it.
Or that one.
Can we just use AI to see what that would look like with a 50 cal machine gun mounted on top?
You can tell this guy was Army. Give me an MG of some kind, a belt fed. Yeah.
Hey, all right. Down at Lemoore Naval Air Station, down in Southern California, my cousin was down. Good
there. To see you.
One of the guys got hold of an old hearse, and it was at the time when the Navy was looking at possibly fitting the A-10 to go do aircraft carrier launches.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some pods that had the GU8 in them. They screwed around one weekend, and they cut the top of the hearse, hinged it, and they mounted a GU8 in there. That's the gun out of the A-10. And it went, but of course, by Monday morning, they took pictures. Monday morning, they had taken it back apart, put it back in the pod where it belonged.
I just
the Ordies down there were just absolutely going. They came in on their day off to help work on this, but it was just
I've got visions of have you seen the remote control gun from the Jackal, the film The Jackal, where he's doing an assassination with it? That is a massive remote. That's brilliant. That with the tracking on it.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Walt about an old hearse or an old station wagon are not going to be targets. Now, back in the day when I was in Pennsylvania, there was someone back there took a Dodge I can't remember the Dodge station wagon. It was about a 68 station wagon. And he took the frame from a 1-ton Dodge truck and put it under the station wagon. So it's a 4-wheel drive station wagon. It sat up about 8 inches higher than normal.
That's not supple though.
That's what he used to go hunting in.
Mm. Yeah, well, you can fit a lot in them.
Yeah, and it was like that was just so. I looked at it, it's like, damn, I wish I had the money.
You know what? It does make me. Taffy Knives just said in the chat about the UK roads being too small, and that's we end up with all these little micro cars and stuff like that, and it's just. Yeah. I'd give anything for a big Ford F-150 or something like that. But it's just too wide for even my street.
Oh shoot! Let's see it here.
But yeah, anyone out there listening to all of us, we're all experienced, and just remember this: it's kind of a journey to be preparedness. You start off with your food and water as your core, and then it spreads out like a spider web. Mm-hmm. And as your spider web grows, you have to make adjustments on what you've just done. It's a positive hobby to keep. I hope I never ever have to use any of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
never. But I've got it, But it's a journey. It's better than sitting on your butt watching TV.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah. And if you really ask yourself, do you trust your current government, wherever you are in the world, to come and save you in said disaster? Yeah. You buy car insurance, you buy health insurance, you buy life insurance. This is your lifestyle insurance. That's what prepping is. It's maintaining the quality.
Well put, Mike. Yeah, because I know that the U.S. has got pretty good programs in place, but it takes time. Yeah, and in that gap, you've got to use your head, and you've got a wife and children over here who are depending on you. Well, that's what I'm working towards,
All right, I got something here for Mike. Here's your pickup for you, Mike.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the narrow roads. You just drive over everybody out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I've been looking at a ferret. Have a look at a British ferret. It's a military vehicle.
Really? I haven't heard of that one.
How do you spell that?
I have.
It's like the animal. F-E-R-R-E-T. F-E-R-R-E-T.
Ferret truck. T-R-U-C-K.
There we go.
That's naughty looking. Oh, that's naughty.
You can get them on Millweb that are already converted to be road legal. So you can drive to the shops in them.
No, that's
That would be
anything.
awesome. I want one.
That's anything but gray man. That's everything except for
That's a. I don't care. I'm getting the heck out of Dodge now.
Yeah, move.
Also, a universal key for any supermarket front door. Just funnily enough, you just drive in.
Yeah. Well, shoot. Hey, I'm going to change my background here to show you another truck here. Virtual background. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Ba-boom.
Nice.
Customized in Provo, Utah. They turn it into a crew cab. They increase the top up here. Yeah.
That's probably bigger than my first apartment.
That's a 5-ton truck. That's a 5-ton truck.
That truck is bigger than your first apartment. That is a big truck.
Yeah. Well, it was a small apartment, I'll be honest. It's something that is on my list. Someone asked before, like, what preps are you going to get next? And moving is my priority at the moment to a more rural location. So I don't know if I'm going to have to change off the urban prepper and become the rural prepper, but a better location. I'm looking for land to build my own sort of thing. But a vehicle is on the cards because this is a workplace vehicle, this EV. And as much as I do say, like an electric vehicle, if the grid goes down, I've got a 60 kilowatt battery bank outside that I can use, which is great. But I want an old Land Rover, something. I want a project, something to do.
Yeah.
Stay busy. Yeah. Stay active. Yep. You mentioned that you've got battery bank in that car. Well, in 2020, when the radicals were lighting fires all over this area, the USB cord in our car, like I was at home with my teenage daughter, and she's surfing. Power was cut because that's the first thing the radicals do is they cut power to watch your ass when the power goes out. But she would come downstairs and I didn't have a lot of stuff back then, but I had the car, so I'd put her in the car and I'd take a chair and sit in front of the car and watch her and watch the neighborhood while she's recharging her phone,
Yeah. So I'm in like a terraced house in the UK, which is side by side sort of thing, like city block almost. And literally I've got my house, my front door, a sidewalk, and then my car's parked there. And it has an adapter with an extension lead that comes in. So there's like a 4-gang plug that comes straight in the house. And it's quite secure because it locks into place. And if someone tried to cut the wire, they'll be on the floor like this for a long time.
Yeah.
So it is a handy thing to have in that way. I mean, EMP and I'm goosed, but I prep mainly, not like power banks and solar and stuff like that. I prep like 1900s kind of like candles and manual tools and stuff like that. I prep so even if short term it works, long term it can rebuild everything, and it's a constant. So that's the way I've centered my prepping, more so than trying to maintain a modern house going with no power constantly.
That's how I started off also, Mike, with I learned, I got molds and I learned how to make my own candles, and I've got several bins of candles, et cetera. And I've got little lanterns from secondhand stores that were $3 with a tea light in them on the stairwell. That stairwell, man, don't neglect your stairwell, because if you take a fall in a power fail, you're in trouble. You break your wrist or break your ankle, light up your stairwell with candles or whatever. But now I've progressed to the smaller solar lights that you see. I've got a bunch of them, first floor and second floor. They're motion activated. They're sitting in the windowsills right now. And if power goes out, all I got to do is turn it over, turn it on, set it down, and the motion will turn off when we leave the room. and turn back on when we enter the room, because that's something you also must really consider as you age. Like if my wife or I fell down and broke our wrist, it takes much longer to heal. And I've also heard of elderly people dying from a broken bone. That's a fact. That is a fact.
Your bone becomes more brittle, so a simple fall that might not have broke something is more likely to break something as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And part of it deals with your diet. Part of that deals with your diet. If you're not eating properly, your bones become more brittle, not just because of age. But some of these people that are eating good, healthy diet, avoiding all processed foods, their bones are stronger than the latest Gen Z person is that's been raised on crap.
These honestly, anyone in the UK, go to any antiques mall or an antiques outlet, stuff like that, and they're practically giving these away.
Yeah.
Oh,
honestly, they're practically giving these away. This one's one I've just picked up. So it's got an old burnt wick in, but you can get the wick for next to nothing on Amazon, and it becomes like brand new. And I will say to you, go and get the old ones because of the glass. The glass on the old ones is solid. You get the one off Amazon that's only 20 quid, and the glass, I've got one up there, just the glass. It's wafer thin.
Yeah, you can flick it with your finger and break the new one.
It'll break it.
Yeah, and because you've got to lift the glass with this pushes up like that, yeah? With them cheap ones, it feels like it's going to break every time. So
here's another example like that, Mike. I've got this one hanging up out here in my garage shop. We can get these at charity shops for $2 or $3 each.
IKEA have them for like £3, even if you want them new. Yeah.
In fact, I got to replace this and they hold a tea light, and that's just enough to put. So when you step into you don't want to step into a dark room and lose your bearings, you know. So this is just enough to put out a little bit of light so I can get my focus on where I'm at. Yeah.
And everyone looking at that, what Bob's got, it's not just light. If you're just thinking you're going to go all electric, that's light and heat. And the glass not only reflects the light more, it also reflects the heat more. So you'll actually get 2 or 3 of them in a room will keep it at stable temperature.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Whereas if you've got the old wind-up ones, you might get some light, but you won't get any heat out of it.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. In fact, thank you guys for putting that seed in my head. We were having some heavy winds a week or two ago, and I lit 2 or 3 candles in the house, and that was one of them out here. So I'm going to, a good reminder, I'll go replace this. Oh, and a tip on tea lights, buy the ones that have got the 4 bumps on the bottom. These will work. The real cheap ones that have got the little circles on them, trust me, I know. Those little circle bottom, those are crap. I threw out probably 200 or 300 tea lights because, I bought them in a big pack on sale. They weren't
go and check my tea lights now.
Yeah, trust me, get rid of them. The ones with the 4 bumps on the bottom, those are what you want.
What's the significance of that?
The location where they are manufactured. These, believe it or not, these are made in India, I think, and they work. The ones that I bought, some that were made in France and some that were made in Poland with the circles on the bottom, they're garbage. I put a video of that on my channel when I
remember that video.
A whole bin of them and just dumped them. It's like,
how can I ask how the garbage? Is it just the burn time or
the wicks are too thin?
Right.
They don't make enough heat to melt the wax and sustain a fire. So they'll burn
itself out.
They're just crap, man.
Right. I've got my tea lights here. 2 minutes. I have to check them now.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, so if you have the crappy tea lights, you can tea candles. You can change out the wick and put a larger wick in there.
I thought of doing that, but I've already got hundreds of other candles, and I just went, it's just not worth my time. You can put good wicks in them, but
the other thing it might be is to take them. All right, they're crap. They're not working. I'm just going to dump them all in a double boiler. melt the wax down and make
Yeah.
some good candles, with some good stuff on it.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah,
there you go,
you got
Mike.
it.
I don't have to
Test
bin
them
them
out. Make sure. Yeah. Test those things out. I do almost everything I buy. I test it, and then I'll post a video on YouTube. Everything I show, I've tested it, and it works satisfactory for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to Virginia Root. She's on my panel once in a while.
Yeah.
She did the same thing one day, and she goes, "Tea lights, Bob. Look." And then she went 4 bumps and went, bingo. That's what I'm looking for. Somebody who's learning. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would have never thought to have checked. I just
Really
happened
good
to have them.
Jumping back to the oil lamp you had up there.
That's
now,
nice.
Besides using your quote commercial oil lamp fuel for it, you can get the more expensive stuff. They call it paraffin fuel, oil fuel. Basically same thing. It's kerosene. It's been refined a little bit more. You can use regular kerosene in it. You can, in an emergency for a short period of time, you can put diesel fuel in it. However, diesel fuel has additives in it. And so you're going to be getting those additives burning off. Off-road here in America, off-road diesel fuel doesn't have that additives in it, but it's got a higher sulfur content in it.
Oh.
But it's like, 6 1/2 dozen of these. It's not the toxics of the number 2 diesel highway fuel. Your vegetable oils have been so processed lately that it doesn't support a good flame in those. But olive oil, avocado oil, those oils will burn good in it, but the price of those is emergency fuel only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or worth knowing if you're scavenging fuel, for example. It's worth to know. I mean, I've got about 25 liters of standard paraffin because that's what I've always. I mean, I must admit, because I did the Civil War Society when I was younger, the smell of a paraffin lamp brings back nostalgia, so I just love them.
I love it too.
All right. Well, I took my break. I'm going to go back out and cut the grass now for a little while. Planting white clover, like I mentioned before, white Dutch clover. Going to replace the grass with clover. It doesn't take any care or maintenance, and you can eat it. Yeah. So I'm going to go back out. Thanks for letting me up again, Shadow.
You're very welcome, Bob.
Take care, Bob.
I didn't get to fire CR, guys. What the hell happened?
He skipped out he saw you come in and he skipped out.
Watch the Canadians. Watch them.
Yeah,
Watch
but you
those
got
Canadians.
one strike, Bob.
Do it,
Canadians.
Do it now in case he watches on replay.
Later, guys.
You're fired. You skipped out.
Yeah, you can't escape. You're fired. I'll go to one of his videos. You can't escape. You're fired. All right. Peace out, everybody. God bless.
Cheers, Bob. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, those oil lamps. Back in the 70s, I bought a bunch that were how to describe it. Basically, it had a hanger that clipped on the bottom of it, had a reflector on it, and the hanger hung on a screw in the wall. And they looked like good pewter ones and stuff, and they were good. Mm-hmm. And for my parents' house, I bought a dozen of them and put them around, and we put them up because it matched the decor. My mom and dad were cool. Didn't bother with me at all hanging them up. And then the power went out. And I go, and I try to find flashlights. I just walk over with a lighter. I start lighting all the oil lamps on the wall. They're like, that's why you got those. I go, yeah, of course. But a dozen oil lamps. The living room, the family room, dining room, and kitchen were all lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that oil lamp you had is for your hand, right?
What's that? For
your hand. That is the brand on that oil lamp you have?
I don't know which one this is. This is just Neva. Neva. 863. Like I say, I just pick them up at the. It's from Slovakia. There you go.
Okay.
I just pick them up at the antiques place. But I mean,
Yeah.
another thing is if you're prepping for home and you want something like this, these are good for camp. They're metal, they're durable. But honestly, at these antique places, you can get full-on glass vase style ones with a full, huge flue on the top, and that produces a massive flame and light, like from the 20s and 30s and stuff. And again, you can pick them up for next to nothing.
Is that it?
Yeah. Feuerhand is a German-made lamp. Yeah. And that Feuerhand looks exactly as the same as that Niva you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I must admit, I've never looked at the brands. I just grab it and tactile check the quality, how I think it feels. That's their cool.
Feuerhand is really good quality lamps. I can tell you that.
Yeah. This is the lamp I got. And so it's got the little the reflector there. Of course, I went ahead and polished that reflector up so it worked a lot better. But yeah, those things are great. They have the wooden screw hole in the top. You can just hook it on there, and those worked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's another one here. Let me see. I'm gonna putting this down and try to find the other one. The Dietz oil lamp. Cooker, Cooker. Oh. There we go. Is that coming up? That's coming up. Okay. Wrong button. Present, share to. There we go. Here's the one you might want to consider looking into. You can get them on Amazon. It's a cooker.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Now, it's not because the oil lamps don't have a lot of heat, but they do have enough. You can boil water. You can make a cup of coffee.
I've made a cup of tea on top of a candle, so it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So they come in as a kit. This is the Dietz, and they come in black or green are the two common colors for it. But there's a little bit larger blow up of it.
They're cool.
And so the top here, you pop the top off and switch tops on it. So that top twist locks on. And there's a bunch of different ones out there on it, but the Dietz ones are the best there is for that.
Make a note.
Like I said, it's on Amazon too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whether or not it's on Amazon for your particular country, don't know.
I will let you know in 2 seconds. I'd like to use the keyboard, but during this live, I've decided to pour a can of Coke on my keyboard, and the lights have all gone off, and now it's pressing whatever buttons it wants, so I can no longer type. Sorry, people in the chat.
Oh.
It's an expensive live, Shadow. That's a £100 computer keyboard that I've just killed.
Oh, Lord.
Ouch.
That was an expensive keyboard.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll dry out and I can use some contact cleaner. We'll see. DIETZ, wasn't it?
DIETZ, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the oil lamp cooker.
There it is. £76.16 on Amazon in the UK.
Excellent.
Their actual lamps are not too bad priced on their own as well.
So Elusive Darthmore says you can use after it runs out. I froze there for a second. So
yeah,
Elusive says you can use aftershave for fuel on a Zippo lighter. It runs out. You can also use here in the United States. We have charcoal lighter fluid for starting our barbecues and stuff. You can use that in a Zippo lighter.
You can use pure alcohol.
Yeah, you can use diesel fuel in it. You can use kerosene in it. Don't want to use gasoline. And I'm not sure about the aftershave because we actually did some testing on it and put some gasoline in there, and lit it up, and the vapors came up around the side, and all of a sudden it's like, flames flowing out of it as it heated up, and more gas vapored out of it. So, but for getting back to the stealth stuff on it, I got it years ago. I got it for a giveaway. I gave it away, and Dustin on Wide Family Farm won it. Let me see if I can find it here real quick here. I need to go into my orders. This was really cool. Zippo, Zippo. Go into my orders, and there it is. Bring it up. All right, here we go. Present, share screen. Boom. The Zippo makes a plasma arc lighter. Come on, get up here.
I've got one of those lighters.
Yeah,
I got not the Zippo, but an orange one it is. But
yeah, and it's it has a USB charge on it. So any type of thing you have, power thing has USB on it. Boom. Hey, it's $17.91 currently on Amazon.
Yeah, I got off Amazon. I got one like that. I mean, that's the Zippo. You can slide it into your Zippo case, right? That's the idea behind that. I got an orange one, which is a survival one, which is cool because it's got a clasp and it seals and it's completely waterproof as well.
This was the case I got for it. And
that looks like the orange one. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
And so Dustin got the two of them together as for a giveaway on my channel. But yeah, and
top tip.
Unfortunately, that one's no longer available. So
I've had a camouflage lighter. The problem with a camouflage lighter is if you use it outdoors and drop it, it's camouflage. You can't find it. That's why I now have a bright orange one.
Yeah. But what's neat about that plasma arc one being stealth, there's no flame, which at night, I see the flame a mile over there.
Yeah.
And there's no smell from there's nothing smells quite as cool as a Zippo lighter with Zippo fuel in it. Oh, it just smells good. It's like back in the day when I was in school, the mimeograph homework assignments. Yeah, all the kids would be sniffing the paper.
Yeah. I think I need to buy a Zippo like that.
Right, yeah. I'm gonna have to call it an evening, gents, because I am up at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
So fun and games. 6 hours of sleep if I get off shortly. So thanks for having me, Sherlock Scout Swede. Gil,
you're very welcome.
Always a pleasure
always.
Yep. Everyone in the chat, thank you for joining in and putting up with me for a while. And I will see you all in another video. I'm sure same time, same place, same channel, as he always says. Catch you later.
Catch you later.
So I'm going to drop a link in here. This is my live stream. It comes up in 2 hours. I'll be on that, and there's the link. And tonight's topic on mine is on Saturdays. I'm doing a series called After the Disaster, and they're picking different type of things. This one is after the local mega disaster. What are your plans? And so this is going to be more centralized for different parts of wherever you're at. We're going to talk about that. But so that's what's coming up here in 2 hours on my channel.
Yeah. I can tell you in my next week's topic I think it's a good idea. Next week's topic is actually false prepper myths and dangerous tips and tricks.
Yeah.
And that was my wife's suggestion. So that will be an interesting topic.
Yeah, I've done 2 live streams on similar things about lies that preppers are told.
So,
and the problem is those are usually told by channels that aren't honest, like the ones we've had up here tonight. They're the ones that buy my supplies and you can get everything you need to survive.
Yeah, but that will be. We can discuss that next week.
Yeah,
because that will be next week's topic.
exactly.
And yeah, my wife thought that would be a great topic. So, yes, you care. Yes, Mike, you are. I already count you in on that one. So that I think we will have a lot of good discussion on that topic as well.
Yeah.
So. So that stream is already prepared for, so it's already scheduled. So
Yeah, I saw it this morning up
yeah,
there. Power and Redemption just came in at the end.
yeah, at the end, yeah. Well, I will end in 3 minutes anyway. So
Yeah. Just to recount some of the top stuff here for you. If you're being stealthy and stuff on it, you don't have to wear gray clothes to be a gray man. You have to blend in with what everyone else is wearing. Path is primary route, alternate route, tactical route, and hidden route. Personally, I think you should have multiples of everything.
yeah,
Because hey, Murphy's Law. If you I got to go to my alternate route. Your alternate route's going to be bad too. Murphy's Law. It's just you need to have several things on it.
yeah,
We've talked about situational awareness. We've talked about being stealthy with kids. So guys, if you didn't see the whole thing, go back and watch the whole thing.
yeah. Watch the replay.
Yeah.
Have on jeans and a sweatshirt and boots. Lol, it's cold today. Lol.
Yeah, we also talked about the what size pack to have. You don't want to have the big old massive, Alice pack or 50-miler backpacking pack, for your either get home or bug out bag. You wanted something that's less. Oh, he's a target. He's a target. Look at all the gear he's carrying.
Yeah,
I like to poke fun at people like that.
The more gear and the heavier your backpack is, you don't move that fast.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You would. It's compared to a knight who have just a chainmail and nothing more, and then you have those with full plated. They didn't move that fast as those.
They fell down. They were in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like Steve at Corsair Trainers like to say, there's tactical and then there's tactical. You want to be tactical, not tactical, because half the time, or most of the time, tactical don't work.
I agree with that.
No, grumpy old man, you don't need that.
50 liters would do just fine. 50, 55 liters.
And it also depends what you're doing too.
Yeah.
Are you bugging out to a backup location, or are you just trying to get home? And how far away home is?
That's a difference between those two.
Yeah. And I know the stuff I had when I was living in California there in the San Francisco Bay Area, what I had to get home was a couple of canteens, basically equal to half gallon of water, and a flashlight, and a Mylar blanket just in case I couldn't make it home, and take off for it. Flashlights.
Lumens matter with torches. Is there a minimum?
Double-edged sword there.
Yeah,
if it's really bright, everybody's going to see you. If it's just bright enough to get what you need done, then that's probably better, in my opinion.
Actually, it depends on what you need it for.
Yeah.
If you need a 50 lumen flashlight if you are going to read your map or something, you don't have the distance but if you need a little bit range, you need higher lumens.
Yeah.
But the risk is you get spotted.
Yeah. One of my favorite flashlights is from a company here in the United States called Harbor Freight. That's this little thing here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got that light, or it's got that light, which is smaller.
Yeah.
And so, reading a map, starting a fire, this one here. Signaling somebody is that one, trying to signal somebody.
Lanterns better.
Like I said, it depends what you need to use, what you need illumination for. Haha, I like it. Grumpy Old Man has the same flashlight. Yeah, and if you're a member of Harbor Freight here in the U.S., get those coupons, because every now and then, this is all you got to do is take the coupon in the store, you get one for free.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. And then, of course, I do have my one flashlight here. I call it my Men in Black flashlight. Look right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you look here and you get your memory wiped out.
Where am I? What's going on? What I like on flashlights is having with LED ones now, you get multiple levels of brightness. So you have a good one that has several levels, and it works. My Men in Black. This one, Harbor Freight. Yeah, this is a Harbor Freight Quantum one. It has a magnet on the back here, so it sticks, and it has a belt clip on it too.
Yeah.
Or if you
That's
prefer,
really nice.
you can clip it on your shirt pocket. You can just clip it on your shirt pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not an affiliate for Harbor Freight, but Harbor Freight comes out with some really cool stuff.
Yeah, my Harbor Freight, I heard about those many times through the years.
I like what Grumpy Old Man says. And it's true. It's true. It's also one of the best man-boy toy stores. It's like, ooh, it's a store for me.
Yeah.
Good barter items. Good barter items. That's a double-edged sword. That's a triple-edged sword, bartering.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, because you're never going to tell when you're going to come into a bad actor trying to barter with you. And all they're looking to do is to take you out and take your supplies.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to slide down here and I'll let you wrap it up. And I'll see everybody. I posted the link to my my live stream in 1 hour and 45 minutes from now. Yep. All right, see you all later.
Take care, Gil. Okay, guys. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. So, yeah, that's all for today. Have a good day, good night, good evening. Awesome, in full KF411. Yeah. And I see you later too, Sandy. Take care. Stay safe. Be part of the solution, not the problem. And we are out.